Hi, welcome back to the fifth part of our tutorial. We are now setting up our testing environment for PHP using VirtualBox and installing and compiling PHP, and we'll be doing tidy HTML5 as well with this. So first of all, let's log into our server with our username and server name. Put our password in. Right, now we're in. We have to install the build dependencies first. I'll be using copy and paste for this because my typing is very slow today. So the first build dependencies we need are git, autoconf, bison, cmake, pkg-config, and re2c. So press enter to install that, and the password, and then put yes to install those packages. Now that is done, we need to download the tidy source code from GitHub, and that is https github.com htacg and tidy-html5, and we use git clone for that. Now that's downloaded, it will create a source directory called tidy HTML5. So we change our directory into that. And we have to find out what our latest version is that we're going to be compiling against. So we look at the tags for this and list all the version tags. As you can see, 5.6.0 is the latest one, so we'll check that one out. So it's git check out 5.6.0. Now we've done that, we need to change our directory to the cmake in build. So we go build cmake, and now we can configure cmake with this command, cmake period /period, and we've done that now, and we can just then make the binaries with make. Once that is done, we can install the compiled binaries into the local folders. So we need to be sudo for this, super user, and we go sudo make install, and that will install all the binaries into our user local directory. And now we can just say make clean, and that's done for that. So now we need to change our directory back to the top home directory. So we're back there. Now we need to download the PHP source from GitHub. With that we use the command again, git clone, and the URL is https://github.com/php/php-source.git. So press enter, and this will take some time because it's a big repository. Right, now with that done, we need to install some development libraries, because we'll be configuring PHP with a few extensions, so we need all those development libraries for that, and those will be for libcurl, OpenSSL, FreeType, JPEGs, PNGs, XML, zip, and also for MySQL. So we'll just install those libraries there. Now we're ready to change the directory to the PHP Source Directory, which is php-src. Now we're in that, we need to find out the latest version that we can compile against. You can see there's lots here, but I'm going to be compiling this against PHP 7, and the latest one is PHP 7.1.22, so that's the one that we're compiling against. So to do that we need to check it out, so we go git check out, and we have to use the capitals for PHP because we need to be on the branch for this, 7.1.22. Now we've got our version of PHP updated and checked out. We need to put in the first command, which is /buildconf and --force. Now we're ready to configure our PHP. We'll be putting PHP in its own directory, and the directory we'll be putting it is in the user local PHP 7.1 directory, and all our files will go into that. And so we use this command, configure, with a prefix of user local PHP 7.1, and then our config paths will be in that folder, and also our scan directories will be in that folder. We disable the CGI because we're using FPM. We enable the FPM for that reason. We enable a few modules, which is bmath, curl, exif, gd, freetype, JPEG, PNG, intl, mbstring, MySQL native driver, because MySQL has been dropped now out of PHP, which you now need to use MySQL MySQLi or PDO MySQL. So that's what we've got. We've got those enabled, but you also need to tell it where the MySQL sock is, and on Ubuntu it's in the var run MySQL-d sock. So then we've got OpenSSL, and we have to tell it where tidy's installed, which is in user and local, and then we enable zip and also zlib as well. So with all that, we can we're ready to hit enter, and it will run through all the configuration, make sure we've got all the libraries installed and you can find them. If we've made a mistake anywhere, it will crash out on this bit here, and then we can see which library it couldn't find, and then we can install that. But we should be all good to go with this. So we've now configured PHP, and we're ready to go on to the next stage, which is to make the binaries. So all we need to do is write in our make command. This will take some time. It can take, depending on your computer capacity, how many cores you've got, the speed of the cores, it can take anywhere from something like 2 minutes to 3/4 of an hour. So when you hit enter, you just have to let it finish. I will speed this process up so that we can just whiz through it. Okay, thanks. I'll be back in a minute. Right, with that done, we can now install PHP with the command sudo install sudo make install. Okay, now we've installed PHP binaries into our folder at user local PHP 7.1. We need to now set up the service for FPM. So to do that, we're going to need to create some new files and put some code in it. I will post this code later on so you can see that. So the first one is to make a new directory in PHP 7.1 with lib and tempfiles.d. Done that. We make a convenience one in etc called etc php, and then we will now rename the PHP Fast Process Manager configuration file from take the default of it so that PHP can read it. Done that. And we also want to copy over the PHP ini file to our directory, and that goes in the etc php.ini. And we also want to create a new file in the libtempfiles.d php fpm.conf, and in that we will put this save that with Control-0 and Control-X to come out. And we also now want to make a new file called php-fpm-checkconf, and in that one we put this huge command coming up. And this will check our configuration every time we start the service. And so Control O and Control X. Now we want to make a new file in first of all we need to make the directory. New directory here called conf.d, and we shall put a file called 10opcache.ini file in there, and we will put this code, and this will turn on opcache for us, so we can benefit from PHP's speed on that. Now we want to make the systemd file, and that goes in lib systemd system php 7.1 conf.d-fpm.service. So this will make our service for us, and in that we put this code, and this will tell us, this will start our FPM service. It will initialize it with all the configuration, and also it will check the configuration and bail out if it's anything goes wrong. So we control 0, control X, and we make that executable with this command, which is sudo command plus X, and the that's the checkconf one. We need that as executable. And now we need to do some system symlinks. So we're going to symlink our etc file in the local to the etc PHP 7.1 directory. It's just a quicker way of getting there. And we also want to symlink to the bin in local, and this will make PHP 7.1 command line interface. That will make it sort of globally accessible. Basically, it will be more accessible than having to do the full path. And we do the same for PHP debug, and the same for php-fpm, and that goes in the S bin this time. Make all those executable. And now we need to reload the systemd using sudo systemctl daemon reload, and then we need to tell it to enable PHP 7.1 FPM. So we say system ctl enable PHP 7.1 FPM. Would help if I enable stop doing typos. Now we need to make a configuration file for our FPM pool so that we can run it under our username. So we use that, we go make a new configuration file in etc PHP 7.1 php-fpm.d php projects.conf. In that we want to put this. What it tells us that we want to run it under we want to run it under our user, and the user is tutorial, or it's the one that you set it up with, your own user. The group is tutorial, and the FPM sock is located here, and this is a relative to where this file is, so it's to where our installation of PHP is. So this goes from var to run PHP FPM sock. We need to tell it to listen to the nginx owner, which is www-data, and the group, same, and the listen mode, and we say that the process manager should be on demand. Okay, so we save that and come out of that. Now we need to configure nginx. So make a new file in it, the nginx folder, which is etc nginx, and we'll call this one php-fpm.conf. And in that we want to just put these configuration. This is so that when we use other maybe sites, or we use other PHP versions, we don't have to keep writing all this out, and this will be shared between them all. So we say Control O and Control Z, and we save that. And the next one is that we want to configure our sites enabled one, which we called it php-products.conf, and here we need to add just a few new things. Need to say that we now have index.php on the index, and that will serve an index PHP if it's there, and we want to also include the client body, max body size. This always helps to do this because it can crash out sometimes. Don't forget the semicolons, and then we need to enter a location block. And this one will say that if all the PHP, if it comes across a PHP file with the suffix of PHP, then it's to use the PHP fast process manager to basically compile it. So do the title, backslash point, open bracket PHP, close bracket, and dollar sign, open curly bracket, and we want to include the file that we made just now. So that's php-fpm.conf, and we need to tell it where our PHP sock is, so that'd be under fast-cgi class, and it's the Unix sock that we want to tell it. So it's Unix user local, and of course this is the PHP 7.1 var run and php fpm.sock, and then close that off with a curly bracket, and that should be it. That should be that done. Now restart nginx and restart fpm to get all the configuration files in. So sudo system ctl restart nginx and sudo system ctl restart php 7.1 fpm. So with those done, we can now create our PHP file to test it all out. So we now need to make that file. So back to our directory, top part of the directory, and we now need to make a new file in our public one, and we'll call that php info.php. So nano public php info dot php, and in that we shall put the php start tag and just a function php info, and this will just test it all out, see if it's working, and that should be it. We can now navigate to our website in our browser, like here, and you can see that it's still just automatically giving me my index HTML. So, but if we go to the file that we did, so that's php info.php, and there we have it. That's the compiled PHP that we have, and you can see that it's all down there, all configured, all done, all sorted, and we're ready to now write scripts and do our website. In the next one I shall talk about doing multiple versions of that, so that when you can test multiple versions through the URL, say that we can do PHP say like 7.1, and then it will serve it under 7.1, or we can have it 7.2, and so and so. But that takes a bit more configuration because you have to do the whole thing over and over again, and I've written a script that does that really quickly, so I'll introduce that in the next one. And until then, happy coding, and I'll see you back soon. Bye for now.